Welcome to the Gatemen Pregame Show presented by South Coast Health. I'm Sam Corman, joined by Jacob Toby and Connor Federico, the dynamic three here at Spillane Field as always. And the Gatemen coming off a really tough loss to the Chatham Anglers yesterday, in which they were tied 2-2 heading into the 8th inning. Let's check out the highlights from that 8-2 loss here against an Eastern Division opponent. Gatemen taking on the Anglers last night at Spillane Field. Griffin Roberts on the hill, slider inside corner. Goodbye, Jacob Olson, top half of the first. Moving to the bottom, the Gatemen of the base is loaded, and a tough play. Blake Sable grounds out, leaves the runners stranded all around. The Gatemen left a lot of runners on base in this game. We'll pick it up in the second inning. Stephen Kwan grounded to short, RBI for him, scoring Tristan Pompey. The Gatemen take an early 1-0 lead. We'll pick it up in the third. Griffin Roberts, slider, goodbye, Josh Shaw, the leadoff guy. The leading hitter for Chatham, down swinging, strikeout number 4 for Griffin Roberts. Pick it up in the fifth. Griffin Roberts facing Antonio Relat, opposite field, base hit. Scoring on that play, Nick Patton from third base to tie the game at 1 in the fifth. That wasn't it for Chatham in that fifth inning. Just one batter later, it's Mason Coppins' infield play. Tough play for Duran in E4. And that allows Fabian Pena to come in and score from third base, giving the Anglers a 2-1 lead. But the Gatemen would respond in the bottom half of the fifth. Kyle Kasser, opposite field, base hit, scoring Stephen Kwan. And that would tie the game at 2, about halfway through this one. By the way, more Griffin Roberts, swing and a miss. Nick Patton gone. That was the final strikeout of the day, number 7. For Griffin Roberts, that would be his total. Jordan Britton comes on in relief, and this is a just bomb by Shea Langoliers over the center field wall, hung a breaking ball on a 3-2 count. Langoliers makes him pay. 4-2 Chatham after that one. After surrendering 2 more hits, Jordan Britton gives up this single to Josh Stowers past the diving Ben Baird at shortstop. That one gets by Topo. That allows some runners to advance. John Aiello would score on the play to make it 5-2 Chatham. And a big blow coming here. It's Antonio Relat at the plate. Up the middle, past the diving Barrett again. Scoring on that play, Pena and Stowers to make it 7-2 Chatham. A 5-run, 6-hit top half of the 8th for the Anglers. In the 9th, they would add some more. It's an RBI from Fabian Pena. That scores Jacob Olson. That would make it 8-2, and that would be your final score. In the bottom half of the 9th, it's Ben Baird at the plate. Grounds right back to the pitcher, Rodney Hutchinson Jr. Flips over to Nick Patton to end the game. The Gatemen fall 8-2 to the Anglers. It was certainly a rough outing for the Gatemen bullpen last night, especially for Jordan Britton, the Oregon State Beaver, after he had a really good outing last week against the Bourne Braves. What went wrong for Britton?
First pitch strikes weren't there. I mean, his first inning of work was pretty good. You saw him retire the hitters, but then in that 8th inning, it just all went wrong. There was not getting the first pitch strikes. His curveball was off line as well, and you really saw the continuous struggle for him. I mean, his first outing was really good, like you said. Didn't let up any earned runs then, so that's what you get when you're coming to the Cape. We've talked about it multiple times. Guys will come here, they'll struggle. He didn't pitch a lot of innings at Oregon State, so this is good for him. He's learning from this mistake, and I'm sure he'll be better going forward.
Yeah, he hung a 3-2 breaking ball to a really good power hitter in Shea Langoliers, and that's going to hurt any time Langoliers hit a 2-run shot in that inning. The Gatemen hitters weren't very impressive last night either. They kind of just got rolled over by the Chatham pitching staff. So what happened there?
Well, at least they were better than the game against the YD Red Sox when they only put 3 hits together, one each in the 9th, 10 in the 11th inning. This time, Tristan Pompey had a good night. He had 2 base hits. The Gatemen, they got some runs together, 1 run and another run. You leave it at 2, that's not going to get the job done, even when you have a guy like Griffin Roberts on the mound yesterday who went 6 innings and was fantastic. And the 6 innings, that was the most we've seen out of any Gatemen pitcher. So the Gatemen, they really just have to regroup now. They need to do a little better today against the Brewster Whitecaps. We'll see.
Our Claudia Chikamian talked with head coach Don Sneddon.
Thanks, Sam. I'm Claudia Chikamian, joined by head coach Don Sneddon. Coach, first of all, we see a bit of a lineup change today. We see John Topa batting cleanup and Tristan Pompey out in right field. So what are you hoping to see with a different lineup?
Well, Pompey can throw now. We want to see him in the outfield. So that was the main reason, a little change up there with that. And just moving the players around. They hit in various positions in their college and that stuff, so we just like to move them around so they when they go back they might be that 4-hole hitter. So we'll see how that works out.
So do you think Tristan Pompey is completely ready? He feels good? His arm, everything's feeling good for him to go out there?
I think so. Otherwise we wouldn't put him out there. We got the okay from the trainer, and he took infield, outfield, and looked like he threw him pretty well, and he said he was feeling fine. So anxious to see him play the outfield. Sometimes that helps with the hitting. If you're not just sitting around in the dugout thinking your last at bat, you're out there being able to participate and contribute to the team out on defense.
Now, it's been a little bit since you guys last saw Brewster, and tough loss that night. Gave up a lot of hits, 9 runs. So what are you hoping can go different? What do you want to do differently? Because it was close up until the end.
Well, again, we have to be better in those last innings. We've done fairly well so far this year in the beginning innings. We just got to find those 8th, 9th innings and close those things out a little. We give ourselves a chance to win.
And you didn't have guys like Stephen Kwan, Kyle Kasser, and Tristan Pompey. So do you think having those guys will really help you guys in tonight's game?
Well, they're all professionals. They all know how to play the game. They come out to play every day. Every day is a new day. Again, the game of baseball is very, very humbling, and you can be 4 for 4 yesterday, and today you'll be 0 for 4. So there's no exact science, so we'll just have to wait and see what happens.
And Miller Hogan's going out on the mound tonight, and every single time he's gone out there, he's been very consistent, very strong. So what are you hoping he can do tonight?
Well, he needs to continue what he's been doing. He's mixed pitches well, and we expect that out of him tonight, and he'll be back up by Dobson, who also has been throwing pretty well. So we're pretty confident with those two guys on the hill.
Great. Thanks, Coach. And we'll be right back on the Gatemen Pregame Show.
When you're sick or injured, you want care when and where it's convenient for you. South Coast Health Urgent Care has 4 locations: Fairhaven, Wareham, and now in Seekonk and Dartmouth. You can view wait times and even check in online at southcoast.org/urgent care. Choose the time and location that's best for you. We'll even remind you when it's time to come in, and walk-ins are always welcome. Urgent care that exists to meet your needs. More than you expected? That's more than medicine. Check in at southcoast.org/urgent care.
Welcome back to the Gatemen Pregame Show presented by South Coast Health. I'm Claudia Chikamian, joined by Tristan Pompey. So Tristan, first of all, the last time the Gatemen played Brewster, you were not playing, you had just gotten to Wareham. So what can you expect in today's game against them?
I'm not really expecting anything because I haven't seen them play before. So I know they got a couple big hitters, a couple home run guys that I played on the home run derby against, Chandler Taylor and Julian. So it'll be fun to see them again, see how they do.
And you're saying Kentucky teammate today as well. Are you excited for that?
Yeah, that should be. I mean, hopefully he's pitching because, you know, I've had his number all fall in inter squad, so I'm hoping he gets the outing today.
And so you've been picking up the pace a little bit. You've had 4 hits and 2 runs in the past couple of games. So what seems to be really clicking for you when you're at the plate?
You know, just broke out of my slump a little bit, I guess, that I had before, and you know, I was trying to get back to where I was at when I was at Kentucky and seeing the ball well, you know, putting good swings on it.
And you're finally moving out of the DH spot tonight. You're back in right field. So what are you really excited about going back in the field today?
I'm just excited to play the field. You know, I haven't played the field in like a month or so I'm itching to get back out there.
And you guys have been slumping a little bit the past few games, a tough couple of past nights. So what are you really hoping you guys can refocus and do in today's game?
You know, it's just coming up with the clutch hit, just, you know, bringing in that guy, runners in scoring position, trying to do the best we can, move them over, just, you know, get back to like being a team again, doing team jobs rather than individual stuff.
Great. Thanks, Tristan. Back to you, Sam.
Welcome back to the Gatemen Pregame Show presented by South Coast Health. The starting pitching for the Gatemen has been pretty impressive despite these last 2 losses. Justin Montgomery on Sunday, Griffin Roberts on Monday, and now today Miller Hogan. What's he have to do to kind of replicate that?
Well, Miller Hogan, we saw him last time versus Bourne here at Spillane Field. 5 strong innings, 6 strikeouts, no earned runs. He's only let up 3 earned runs this whole season for the Gatemen so far, so he's looked really well. The right-hander out of St. Louis, I like his power fastball, I like his off-speed stuff. Get ahead of the hitters early on tonight against this lineup, and you should be good to go.
And for the Brewster Whitecaps, it's going to be Joe Molitier out of Monmouth.
And Molitier coming out of Monmouth. He struggled a little bit during the spring. He'll be the starter tonight for the Whitecaps, but mostly came in a relieving role. Does have some starts under his belt from his spring season. He comes at you with a 4-seam fastball, a 2-seam fastball, changeup, and then also a slider. That's mostly his put-away pitch, similar to what the Gatemen saw last night out of the Chatham pitcher, Bergner, who they didn't have success against. So maybe they're seeing a similar pitcher. They need to sort of regroup. They need to get themselves together. it'll be a similar pitching style, and that might help you. Even though it's not the same pitcher, you're seeing similar pitches out of a right-handed arm for the second day in a row. These Gatemen hitters, they need to take advantage of that.
Yeah, the Gatemen pitching. Miller Hogan has coming into today with a 2.08 ERA. He's been really good, especially in his past 2 or 3 outings. We'll send it to break here on the Gatemen Pregame Show, presented by South Coast Health.
When you're sick or injured, you want care when and where it's convenient for you. South Coast Health Urgent Care has 4 locations: Fairhaven, Wareham, and now in Seekonk and Dartmouth. You can view wait times and even check in online at southcoast.org/urgent care. Choose the time and location that's best for you. We'll even remind you when it's time to come in, and walk-ins are always welcome. Urgent care that exists to meet your needs. More than you expected? That's more than medicine. Check in at southcoast.org/urgent care.
The Gatemen would like to remind you that you can reach out to the press box at pressbox@gatemen.org. That's pressbox@gatemen.org. Shoot any questions, comments, and concerns, as well as reach out to us on social media, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and SoundCloud. We're here with Matt Feld, our beat writer, once again, for our segment Feld at the Field, or Felder's Choice, whichever one you prefer. I mean, you can decide. But big starting pitching has really come through for the Gatemen recently. Justin Montgomery a few days ago, Griffin Roberts yesterday. What can Miller Hogan out of St. Louis do to kind of build off that?
Yeah, the Gatemen have found themselves quite a 1-2 tandem in Justin Montgomery and Griffin Roberts. Justin Montgomery, of course, 21 scoreless innings. Griffin Roberts, meanwhile, with a 2.25 ERA over 20 innings. They also are a tandem in terms of tied for the lead in strikeouts with 24, and Miller Hogan can certainly build on just that. Miller Hogan's been great in his last 2 outings. We saw him against Katuitt, pitch 5 shutout innings, and then against Bourne, 5 shutout innings, using his terrific changeup against both righties and lefties, and a great slider. So hopefully he can build off that tonight, and the Gatemen can keep on rolling. And what's been, between the tough results of the Gatemen have had the last couple of days, they've gotten one constant, and that's been great starting pitching.
Yeah, and a pretty crowded outfield here for the Gatemen this season, and it hasn't been as crowded as you'd think it would be, because Tristan Pompey has been DHing almost every time he's been in the lineup. Today he's in the outfield. He's playing one of the corner outfield positions. What do you think you're going to see out of Tristan Pompey defensively?
Head coach Don Senn's been kind of antsy to get Pompey into the field. He had a bit of an injury that kept him sidelined, but he's healthy and he's ready to go. He's going to play right field tonight, and it creates a whole new dynamic. The Gatemen are now a little more versatile in the field. Luke Bonfield, who's had to play a lot of right field, who I know head coach Don Senn wanted to work at first base. He can primarily play first base and DH. Jake Anchio can play first base like he is tonight. It just opens up another spot for another Gatemen bat to get into the lineup, because before Pompey had to take up the DH spot. You weren't going to take him out of the lineup, of course, because of his bat, and so as a result, he was using a DH spot, and now that's open to other players. Robbie Metz, when he's not in the field. As I said, Jake Anchio, when he's not in the field. Willie McIver, when he wants a day off from the field. So all of a sudden now the Gatemen have a much different lineup and a much deeper lineup with another spot open.
Awesome stuff. You heard it. Tristan Pompey making his fielding debut today for the Gatemen. And we will return to the Gatemen Pregame Live presented by South Coast Health after this short break.
When you're sick or injured, you want care when and where it's convenient for you. South Coast Health Urgent Care has 4 locations: Fairhaven, Wareham, and now in Seekonk and Dartmouth. You can view wait times and even check in online at southcoast.org/urgent care. Choose the time and location that's best for you. We'll even remind you when it's time to come in, and walk-ins are always welcome. Urgent care that exists to meet your needs. More than you expected? That's more than medicine. Check in at southcoast.org/urgent care.
Welcome back to the Gatemen Pregame Show presented by South Coast Health. Brewster Whitecaps have a pretty loaded lineup top to bottom. It's pretty surprising that they're in the middle of the Eastern Division right now. But who are you looking for out of all these guys in this Brewster lineup?
Oh, it's Chandler Taylor, no doubt about that. He's an absolute slugger out of Alabama. Was in the home run derby for the college for college this season, and he was just tremendous. He actually hit a home run, a 2-run shot last time versus the Gatemen at Brewster. So watch out for him. Maybe at Spillane Field he can drive it the opposite way to the right field, because we know that is a short part, maybe the shortest part here at Spillane. There's no real short parts here, though, because it's a major league ballpark. But, yeah, this guy can hit a home run. He also gets on base a lot. He can walk. This team, this Brewster lineup, is the only team with over 100 walks for any Cape League team this season, so they can get on base. He can as well.
And what's the key to the game for the Gatemen here at this Major League ballpark, this playing field?
Well, I mean, Jacob just said they do lead the league in walks, but they're also among the league leaders in strikeouts, which is sort of rare when you combine those two together. As of recently, the Brewster Whitecaps, they've been striking out a lot, and for the pitcher today, Miller Hogan, that curveball, he can really work that away from hitters or down low in the zone where he can't get hurt, and he's going to get these hitters to chase a lot. They're free swingers, a lot of power guys like Taylor that you just talked about, Jacob, and that's really going to help the Gatemen today. If Miller Hogan and maybe if we see Tanner Dodson after him and whoever else comes out of the bullpen, just, be safe, throw those 0-2, 1-2 pitches out of the zone, get those hitters to chase. That's the key for them.
And one more thing, it could go either way. They could either walk a lot tonight or they could either strike out a lot tonight. So you have to be careful if you're Miller Hogan on the mound with that curveball.
Yeah, thanks for watching the Gatemen pregame show presented by South Coast Health. First pitch between the Whitecaps and the Gatemen at 6:30 p.m. on the Gatemen Baseball Network.